The first film was almost like, how do you avoid getting cut? I feel like the essence of this film is, oh my God, how do we stop the bleeding?
I don't know why you came all the way up here. There's nothing left.
There are people out there.
Guys, when I tell you I was so excited about watching this, and I took my best friend to watch it with me, and watching it at the cinema was so very important because I just feel like the scares, and there were so many jump scares that we all jumped at the same time, and that kind of shared experience is only something that you can have in the cinema, and I thoroughly enjoyed those moments, and there were a lot of those moments. I don't know how they managed to weave in so many without it getting annoying and predictable. It was still like a story that I was following and gripped by without thinking, okay, I know what's going to happen, that kind of thing.
People worth saving.
Most people had finally given up hope.
Watch it, avoid it, or it depends. Okay, so I am going to say watch it. Quiet Place 2 is a big watch it, watch it, watch it. Let me explain why. So John Kransinki is back, and he's written and directed this film. The first one, for those of you that are like big Quiet Place fans, if you're not, guys, it's not really a spoiler because everybody knows, but if you don't want to know, if you haven't watched the first one, mute me right now. John Krasinski's character has obviously died. He sacrificed himself for his family, and he's now dead. So there are a lot of people thinking, oh, we're going to miss him in Quiet Place 2, we'd love him back. So what they've done is introduce flashbacks. I feel like this is getting to be a bit of a norm in most films and TV series. And I haven't got totally annoyed by this yet because I still kind of think it works. But I think at some point I'm going to be like, stop doing flashbacks, everyone. But okay, so we have flashbacks. So we have him still as the dad, as the husband. He's still there in some moments of this film right at the beginning. But in essence, it's not really about him. It is about the survival of the rest of the family. Emily Blunt is once again brilliant as the mum in charge, trying to keep her little babies all safe. She's got a son, she's got a daughter, and now she's got a baby. Yes, they have a baby too. And I know what you're thinking. Oh my God, Max, how are they going to keep that baby quiet?
You know, the truth is, I had no intention of doing a sequel. I don't think anyone thought that there would be a sequel. This was never designed to be a franchise. And yet I think that the power of the world is the thing that makes it so possible to delve into it again. What I mean by that is I think most sequels have a hero or a villain, and you have to build the world around them. And we have the benefit of having the opposite be true. We have this world built and ready to play in, so you can drop whatever hero and villain you want into that world, and that's what's really exciting about it.
I just think for me, I found this one emotionally just a more intense experience because there isn't any respite from the agony of what they've gone through. There's not one moment where it's pleasant for them. It's just urgent, and it is like a runaway train, this film. If the first film was almost like, how do you avoid getting cut? I feel like the essence of this film is, oh my God, how do we stop the bleeding? You know, it just doesn't stop. And so I feel was probably one of the most intense experiences I've had doing some of those scenes.
Okay, so guys, if you need a man with a beard, bit of a hero type, there to protect the family, kind of, and a little bit like angst, don't worry, we've got Cillian Murphy. He's going to step right in there where John Krasinski has left us as a bearded hero. I actually loved him in this. I wasn't quite sure if he was going to play a good guy or a bad guy, and he's actually in between the two, but of course he becomes a hero at the end. And I think to watch him within the kind of storyline and the narrative and be introduced as a big character, it absolutely works, and he just fits right in.
There are people out there worth saving.
You don't know, do you? Oh, I do. Okay, it's okay.
I've always loved working with writer-directors, first of all, because you know exactly, you can go straight to the source of where the story has come from, you know, and that's the case with John. And then you add on to that the fact that he's an actor as well, so he completely understands how actors work. His notes are amazing.
Now, this time around, the other big difference is it's about the kids more than it is about the adults. I think Emily Blunt, although we have enough of her in this film, I honestly feel like she was probably filming a lot of different things at the time, because she's not really in it as much as the first one. And honestly, I didn't miss her. And that's not to say I'm not a fan of Emily Blunt, but I think the way that the film has been made, you feel like you get enough of her. But I just felt like she wasn't in it as much, because I thought about it. I'm that kind of person who thinks about these things. So nobody else would probably notice, but I did. It's really about Millicent Simmonds, who plays Regan, the daughter. I think she's absolutely incredible and effortless to watch in this film. She's literally mourning the death of her dad, and I think the relationship between her dad and her, they were so close, and they were always working on like the kind of radio and all their different ways of trying to find out how to get one over these creatures, alongside trying to find other people that may still be alive to get to a safe place. And although she's really traumatized and really upset about her dad dying and being gone, she's kind of been empowered to almost become like, I'm going to look after everyone, I'm going to make my dad proud. And she's fearless and so very brave, and she's on this mission to basically find some sort of like refuge, to see a young girl as an actress just come into her own and be kind of the standout hero. Even with Cillian Murphy, they have this kind of up and down relationship, but the chemistry between them is effortless when they work together, and when it works and when they come together, it's beautiful.
Now that we know that the audience is accepting of this world and accepting of these rules and loving the way the rules play out in the world, we basically answer the question that the audience asked of themselves, which is, what would you do? Because I think that the family in the first movie has a leg up on the rest of the audience, because they can speak sign language, they have all these systems created, and now none of those things are going to save them. So they become just like everyone else, which is every single step that they take is a potential tragedy. And I think that that's what's really exciting, is that in the first movie there was a system that would keep you safe. In this movie, nothing keeps you safe. So the second movie really is the rules of the first movie without a safety net. Anything can be your demise.
Overall, I absolutely enjoyed Quiet Place 2, and like I said, I think if I'd watched it at home, I don't think I would have enjoyed it as much. I just think the cinema experience, the big screen, those scares, those quiet moments, they were so much bigger for me sitting in this huge cinema, that made such a difference. But, okay, the few things that I'm going to say that, I was a bit like, okay guys, the flashbacks. Now here's the thing, Emily and John, flashbacks work perfectly, and I know why they did it. Also, aside from giving us some John, we also got the backstory on Cillian Murphy and who he was before he kind of appears in Quiet Place 2. Here is my issue though, the children, Noah Jupe and Millicent Simmonds, who are obviously older now, a lot older than they were when they first played the characters that they played in Quiet Place. But they've been filmed doing the flashbacks as them now, so Noah looks taller and more grown up, so it's really hard to believe that he's younger. It's not like you think, oh, this doesn't make sense, because it still works, but me just being pedantic, if I were going to pick, I would pick those bits out and say, well, the kids clearly don't look younger, they look actually older. And it's funny because I chatted to Noah, and I'll insert a clip in actually if I can find it, and I chatted to Noah Duke just before lockdown, and I remember him saying, I said, God, I looked at Quiet Place 1 and you were like a little tiny little thing, and now look at you, you've shot up. And he was like, I know, I've grown so much. So it really made me think about that.
It's the carrots. I honestly don't know. It's I kind of I've always been the smallest kid in the class for like a few years, and then suddenly, just like after maybe last year or something, about around this time, I I just started to grow, and like everything didn't fit anymore, and I was like, whoa, what's happening
the
here?
hair.
And the hair.
You haven't got the earring in today?
I haven't, no. But yeah, and everything just kind of shot up. And
Is it nice to be able to have fun and express yourself artistically and be amongst all these grown-ups? Does it allow you to be a kid when you want and use that, I'm a kid, and then other times be like, actually, I know what I'm doing?
yeah, I guess it's like, you know, it's that, because I'm at that age when I want to be mature, but I'm not mature. So like I can come out here and like pretend to be mature and like, you know, hang with the adults, and then I can go back to my friends and just goof out.
Noah's character also goes through the worst thing ever, and it's early on in the film, and I think it's one of my favourite bits in the whole film, although I literally screamed, and I think everybody in the cinema was like, well, that girl, just chill out a little bit. But it was just like, oh my god, that scene was brilliant. John Kransinki has done such an awesome job in writing this story and how it continues, because you think, where can it go, right? Where can it actually go now? The creatures, they've got to stay quiet or they'll die. But actually, there's a whole other side to this story now, where there is what's considered a different part of the world, where it feels like people are actually living safely, a small bunch of people. But spoiler alert, if you don't want to know, pause me. That too is ruined.
People worth saving.
Most people had finally given up hope.
Okay, the other thing that I want to point out is right at the end, when the film is about to finish, normally you're left almost complete, but you're kind of like either sad, upset, or wondering what might happen. This time round, it was very much like a Netflix series or an Apple TV series or an Amazon series where you were like, okay, next episode. It was too much like a to be continued. It was so obvious that there has to be a 3, and it was just like, it felt as though when we got to the last 15 minutes, this is setting up part 3. That's exactly how it felt to me. Am I mad about that? No. Would I have liked it a little bit more subtle and less in your face? Yes. Because now I feel like anybody that interviews John Kransinki, Emily Blunt, Noah, Millicent, and if they ask them, oh, will there be a 3? It's going to be, yeah, well, obviously there's a 3. There's a reason to have a 3. And I don't necessarily think that's a good thing. I think it would have been nicer for it to have been a little bit more like, ooh, is that it? Or is there going to be more? But this was very much like, yes, there is going to be more.
Metaphor, the first one was parenthood. If you extend that metaphor, could I play with that metaphor longer? And I think there's an evolution, an innate evolution in the metaphor that really became powerful in my mind. What I mean by that is, if the first one was about the promise you make as parents to your kids, that as long as you're with me, I can keep you safe and everything's gonna be fine. That's a promise that every parent makes to their child, and sadly has to be inevitably broken at some point in that relationship. And so I thought, when that promise is broken, that's growing up. And so when you let your kids go out into the world on their own, that's what growing up's all about. And so that's what the metaphor of the second one became, the idea of these kids and this family dealing with loss.
So overall, guys, Quiet Place 2, I absolutely recommend it. If you can, please go and see it in the cinema. The experience is so much better. You will enjoy it. There are lots of like jump moments and you will be like, oh, what the hell? But you will absolutely love it. Congratulations to everyone involved in the film. You guys killed it. Guys, it's a watch it from me. If you have seen it, don't forget you can also stream it. Details below for those of you that aren't quite ready to hit the cinema, because I know a lot of people are streaming stuff at home. So you do have that option too. I just personally think it is so much better to watch it at the cinema, and I cannot say that enough. So guys, leave a comment if you have already watched it, or when you do watch it. Let me know what your expectations are, if you agree with me about that ending. Also, what did you think about Cillian Murphy joining the team? Was that like a good addition? I think it was. I don't know why I just did that. Like, I don't know. It wasn't a quote. Today, the sun, London has been really lovely. I think the sun has just got me a little bit hot and bothered, guys. subscribe, like the video, leave a comment, and guys, I'm trying to get to 40,000 subs, and I'm going to keep saying this on this video. And if you guys watch this video, please share it with your friends, your network, your crew, your people, so I can hit that 40,000 and I can continue making more videos for you. So guys, take care, and I'll see you soon. Bye.